Hello, everybody. Welcome to Chat of the Wild. In this season, we are starting a brand new adventure on a game that is beloved by many. Also, just a little divisive for the Zelda audience. There's some weird stuff that where like some people absolutely love this game. Some people look at this as being like, this is just some other dumb little thing. But anyways, we're playing Majora's Mask for the Nintendo 64, the 3DS, and other means. I'm your host, Jeremy Harvey. Joining me on this season, I have Celeste Roberts. Welcome, Celeste.
Hey, good to see you guys again.
Good to have you here, Celeste. And also Pete Deaver.
Hi, how are you guys doing?
Fantastic.
So excited.
We get to talk about one of my favorite games, one of Celeste's favorite games. Celeste has said it's her favorite Zelda game. I have that on record. But we had an introduction episode previously. Always encourage you to go listen to that so you can get a better idea of our background on all of this really quick. Myself and Celeste have experience with this game. I have the most experience with this, playing both versions of it, N64, 3DS version, multiple times over the years. Celeste, this will be her first time playing the 3DS version. She gets to experience that. And then Pete, this is going to be his very first time playing through this. And Pete, you're going to be playing on the Ship of Harkinian sequel to Ship to Harkinian, which is just a weird name, right?
Yeah, they went very fast and furious with the naming.
For those that don't know, can you elaborate on the process of getting that going?
It was very easy. It's kind of just a PC port. If you have like a ripped copy of the N64 version and it just converts that into a very good like PC port that's 60 FPS. I'm very curious to hear how smooth the game feels for you guys, because it feels amazing on this version. I mean, it's just so kind of like smooth to control. It feels even different than because I played the Ship of Harkinian version of Ocarina of Time, and that felt very N64 to me in a way that this feels just kind of like I don't know, it feels very smooth.
No, that's good. Yeah, I think the N64 version runs at like 12 frames a second. Like it's just that's just like what it does. It might be more than that, but even playing it on the analog 3D and like the overclock thing, it doesn't feel smooth necessarily. It feels like Nintendo 64. The question will be when a bunch of enemies get around me, does it just turn into a slideshow? But I haven't seen that yet. And Celeste, you're playing it on the 3DS?
That's right. That is correct.
You got that 3D cranked all the way up?
Oh, I tried. It kind of starts hurting my eyes a little bit. Did you play it with the 3D on when you played it on the 3D?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I tried to do all the 3DS games with 3D on for a lot of stuff, especially the Zelda stuff. Like I've played them all with that all cranked all the way up.
Wow.
Surprised that I don't have like vision problems at this point. But
do you wear contacts?
No. Maybe it made my eyes stronger.
Oh, okay. I wear contacts.
I'm going to go with that theory.
So I was curious. Now, speaking of graphics, I of course know what the N64 version looks like, the 3DS. What does your version look like, Pete? Have you compared it to those versions?
I haven't taken a look at the other versions yet. It looks very, very clean. The resolution is nice. I wouldn't say that they have like went through and upscaled every resolution, but I like that. I like that they kind of maintained the classic look, but it looks clean. It's in widescreen. It's very nice to look at, I guess.
Now that version does have mod support. So technically you could go in and you could upgrade all of the textures and things like that. Yours also has like quality of life updates that you can check on and off. Did you tinker with that at all, or are you just trying to go in as vanilla as possible?
I took a look at that. I wanted to go in as vanilla as possible. When you go to download To Ship to Harkinian, they're almost like it's on a GitHub page, and I've had just a time wrapping my head around GitHub in general.
Yeah.
But there are 3 different versions that you can download. There's like an alpha version, and then 2 different names that I didn't really recognize. And I chose what looked like the latest one, but each one had patch notes that just did different descriptions of like, oh yeah, this headache is gone, this time-based headache. And I don't have a lot of like context for what those are and why those might be inconvenient.
I think I know.
But there are some things that I'm like, okay, well, I might have a different experience with this than they do, just based on how they've cleaned up some of these mechanics a little bit for this version. I need to make a list of kind of what those are and just kind of read them off to you guys so that you recognize potentially what they are.
I do know, talking about the 3DS version versus the N64 version, that there are certain quests that they did smooth out, and some of the controls are smoothed out where like it is kind of frustrating. And it has been a long time since I played the N64 version. And I'd like to believe I am a better gamer now. So we will see when I get to these certain points if it feels as impossible as it did when I was a kid. Because there are just certain areas where I'm like, I remember dying over and over and over just trying to get from point A to point B on this game. But we'll see. We'll see how it works with the N64 setup. Before we also get into this, I did say previously, as we are playing through this, I am going to be reading the Legend of Zelda manga by Akira Himekawa, which was a pen name for a duo of female writers that they are now known, but I'm assuming when they were first doing this, they were maybe like concerned about being women in this sort of scene and, worried that kind of thing would not sell as well in touching a beloved series like this. Since then, you can look them up and you can find out who they are. And they have written many mangas for this series. But I just wanted we don't have a lot to talk about in the beginning for this area, but it actually takes place just before the game starts. One thing to note, Link talks. Link is talkative in this series. We don't hear his voice, obviously, because it's in a book here, but he does talk, and he's not like super chatty, but I can imagine when you have these moments where it is just a boy and his horse, someone needs to say something. Now, Celeste, you've read these books as well?
Yes, I didn't reread it in time for this podcast, but I do have like a box collection of some of those different mangas, like Majora's Mask, Ocarina of Time. I think it's maybe Minish Cap or Wind Waker, something like that.
I don't know if they did Wind Waker, but they definitely did Minish Cap.
Minish Cap, yeah.
The other thing to note before we get into it is that in this book, Link is traveling to a castle just beforehand to meet with someone named Osun, O-S-U-N. This is not a character in anything else. He gets to the castle and he says that he is there to meet Osun, who's the leader of this place. He's a great swordsman. And all of the soldiers greeting him are laughing at them because they're expecting Link, this great swordsman, and a little kid shows up, because Link also went through the stuff in Ocarina of Time. He went through everything of growing up and defeating evil and all of this stuff, and then turned back to a kid and went on his adventure. So he has all of the knowledge of an adult in a child's body now. And they're laughing at him, being like, oh, this just must be some squire that Link had sent on his behalf to find Osun. And then he does challenge all of the soldiers, and they're all beat by this kid. And then Osun also spars with him, and that's kind of it. And then Link goes on his adventure again. It's just a weird little stop that he makes at the beginning before this starts.
I was kind of wondering, starting this, my memory of the end of Ocarina of Time, it's been a few years. So how much do the people of Hyrule know that Link was responsible for fighting off that evil?
0.
Okay. That's what I wondered.
It's a thankless effort.
So when he wanders up there, they don't know. He's not like a legend or a hero of legend or anything like that. He's just some kid.
That is true. It is almost like contradictory in that way, because he would have gone back in time before everything happened. So why do they know Link? I mean, it might have been, some other adventures that he had been on and other people that he had saved along the way as a child.
I was curious about that hopping into this game too, because you're running around the Clock Town is it Clock Town?
Yes.
And I was like, I wonder if do these people know? Are they aware of that adventure in any way?
These are great questions, Pete.
Yes. We'll get to that. I guess we can talk a little bit about that once we walk into the entrance of Clocktown and all that. But yeah, let's go ahead. So the game starts here, right? We have it's the best open. Like, I know the Ocarina of Time, you sit there, you see the horse go by and all of that, but Majora's Mask is, I just think, so interesting as a set piece, or just like to give you sort of the flavor of what this game is about, where if you let the game just run. Did either of you do this? You just turn the game on and just watch it before you hit start? Yeah. So we get to see Clocktown, and we do see a couple other areas here and there, and it's got this nice, joyful music going with everything. Everyone's just living their lives, and it does all that. But right at the end, the music changes. It slows down a little bit, and it gets a little creepy in a way. And then we see just this figure. At this time, we don't really know who this is. We just see this person looking up, and then at the very end, the music just does this really interesting like noise with it, and then we see this giant moon with this eager face on it, and it's just like, what is going on? But yeah, we start the game, and we are told that Link is on a journey. He is looking for his lost friend. They don't say specifically Navi, but at the very end, you do hear, as they're saying all this, you hear a little the noise that Navi makes. So they don't say specifically he's looking for Navi, but he says that the boy is looking for his lost friend. Why do they keep it so vague? I don't know. I don't know why they're so vague about that.
Can I say I'm very embarrassed to say I did not realize it was Navi. So I was like 11 when I played this, and I had played Ocarina of Time back in the day, but it wasn't until maybe the last 10 years or so I realized he was talking about Navi. I thought, because in Ocarina of Time, they emphasize his friendship with Saria so much. I thought, in my mind, is he trying to access the sacred realm to go back to hanging out with Saria?
So, I mean, that's interesting. I guess, like, it's possible. And now that we're talking about this, I do remember actually being on forums of people asking these questions about who he was looking for. I think even in the manga, it does specifically say he's looking for Navi. He's looking for his fairy, because the fairy does leave. Like, Ocarina of Time, at the end, we do see Navi leave. That is like one of the things that happens on there. I mean, Navi did what he was supposed to do, but that's interesting. And I think more interesting to say that Link is actually looking for his best friend that was before this adventure and trying to find her. That does, if you do this right at the end when it says he's looking for his friend, it does make the little noise of Navi. So, but again, I don't know why they were so vague about it.
Yeah, I didn't pick up on that noise. That's good insight.
Yeah. So I mean, this is like the 5th time I've played through this game at least. So yeah. And I could be completely wrong, but we do know that he's fairyless at this point, and we do see that Link is riding on Epona. Now, this is a younger Link with a younger Epona. So we see the what. Miss Horse Girl Celeste, what do you call a young horse? I forget.
A pony.
A pony, right. Yes. Okay, sorry. I don't know why I was blanking on that.
Not like the Genuine song Pony.
Right.
But oh my gosh, I've never ridden bareback on a horse, but all I can think is that has to be incredibly uncomfortable. He does not have a saddle or some reins with a bit in the horse's mouth while he's riding this horse.
Right. Well, they just have that.
Your life up there.
Yes. Not hanging on well enough though. So yeah, we do see they're just kind of like slowly trotting through this forest, and then we get a glimpse of 2 little fairies, a purple one and a white one, and they jump in front of Epona because Link is like taking a nap as they're going. Like, he's just not really paying attention on what's going on, and they jump in front of Epona. cause her to buck, and he flies off of there. And then we see a new figure appear. Now that we've recognized the body before as a skull kid from Ocarina of Time, but it's wearing this very distinct mask, and it just fades in from nothing. And it runs up, and they're talking about like, oh, let's look through his bag, see what he's got here. And that is where they find the Ocarina of Time, the legendary blue ocarina that Zelda gave to us. And one of my favorite moments is when you get Link sits back up, and the look on his face, he's pissed. And he's just like,
Yeah.
he probably was in the middle of a decent nap that he could afford to have on his adventure, and he got interrupted by this, and this weirdo is stealing from him. So I do love the look that Link gives here. But then we do see that he jumps after the Skull Kid to try to get what he has. Skull Kid jumps on top of Epona and rides off, and we jump on, and we are pulled. We're hanging on for dear life on the side of Epona and going through all of this, and then we get kicked off. And this is where we can now control the game. Now, I love the very much look at what we can do in the sequel here. One, if you compare visuals, like you look at the two, like there's so much more density and variety of foliage that's going on in this game, even on the Nintendo 64 version. But as you're jumping through these things, Link just does some like acrobatics that like don't really like doesn't help anything, but it looks cool.
Blew my mind. I was like, when did he become a gymnast between
Right.
Because he does, because you need the expansion pack for Majora's Mask, right?
Yep.
Speaking of the Skull Kid, though, did you notice, like, he said something like, this guy, oh, well. So I was like, oh, does he recognize Link? Is he intimidated?
This section was a big section of, like, wondering, like, okay, how much, I think that's where the question came from for me, of, like, how much do they know? Like, they're not like respecting Link at all for being this, but he does kind of like imply that he's familiar with him to a degree.
Yes. I will just say, I don't think it like ruins anything. It's not a big spoiler necessarily. This is the same Skull Kid from the Lost Woods in Ocarina that you go up there, and if you have one of the masks that you trade with him, that's him. So canonically, that is the same person. He knows you, or at least it's at the very end. I'll just say this again. This isn't a spoiler. At the very end, he says, "You smell like the kid from the forest." So he recognizes him by smell.
Interesting.
Oh, interesting.
Yes. For some reason, that's the thing, is that he smells like him.
I thought this section also like was interesting to me because at no other point in my time with Legend of Zelda games have I encountered fairies that were not my friend. You know, like where they're like being almost like a jerk to you. And I was like, what is this? Like, how has this Skull Kid managed to convince them to be so like mean and to be a bully, basically?
Yeah, we get so much more character, and I think this is the reason why I like this game so much more. Is just because one, so we have to also talk about the background of like the development on this. After Ocarina was such a huge success, they needed another quick Zelda game. They were like, we need this game. We need another Zelda out here. The N64 is not doing well, but the Zelda games sell like crazy. We need a new Zelda game out here to make sure that the N64 sells well. So this was a different team than it was like there's some overlap on there, but it was not led by Shigeru Miyamoto like Ocarina was. This was led by Eiji Aonuma, who then became sort of the head of Zelda development for years to come after this. And Aonuma is much more interested in making like interesting puzzles for you to solve, but also more characters. He's much more character focused than Miyamoto is. And so we get more lore in this in terms of its own world. The reality is, though, this world does not actually exist. What we're going to see in Termina doesn't really exist well with Hyrule. So things that happen in Hyrule, they don't even know what Hyrule is. That's the key thing here. So we can talk more later. We don't want to necessarily spoil Pete as he is the new guy here and experience a lot of the stuff for the first time. But there is some interesting things to talk about of the reality of the world that we're in and like what is actually going on. But I just to circle back to what I was saying, they needed a game out quick. They had 1 year to develop this game. So they reused assets from Ocarina, but also made everything a little bit more compact. And a lot of that, the idea came, well, like, okay, we're going to take all the characters that we had previously, but we're going to make them do more. And you end up having to, rather than going to all new places over and over again, you maybe like repeat things and like you get different perspectives of it. And that would really helped with their timeline to get this out within a year of development, which is unheard of nowadays for sure. But we chase him down and we're going into this tree and then we do a little fall. We fall down this little pit. Now it's funny. I know this image very well. As we're falling, we see these like colorful little shapes and stuff like that. The 3DS version, you can see it really well. I'm sure you can see it in the Ship of Harkinian. These just look like blobs on the N64. You
They're
cannot
beautiful.
tell what these are.
They're so crisp on the 3DS.
Yes.
Yeah, they were crisp on this too. Where it made me think of like the elephant scene from Dumbo almost. Do you know what I'm talking about? Where you get the like really trippy scene in that movie?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
It reminds me of Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah, I can see that.
Good. Yeah. Good analogy. So yeah, we land here and we find ourselves on this little flower pot in front of a little pond thing. And there is Skull Kid and he's floating in front of us. Now, this is just a weird thing, and I'm going to bring it up because, like, and I did some research, and there's really nothing on this. It's just like something we have to acknowledge. One, did either of you notice that when we see this shot of Skull Kid and there's a light, there's a weird triangle shape thing under him?
Oh, what color is it?
I mean, it's just shadow.
Okay,
it looks like a weird broken Triforce. I'm sure people like have done fan lore about this, but when I looked at that, I was like, oh yeah, I have some memories of going into forums and talking about this stuff. Like, wait, what's that? And then we're also going to be talking about the goddess of time, which is not any of the goddesses that we have spoken of previously with the Triforce. So this is technically potentially a fourth goddess. But there is something to that. Now, again, they've never elaborated on this. This game is its own isolated lore in a lot of ways. Nothing really continues on from there. But just a couple little oddities in this that I was reminded of.
Oh.
But anyways, any thoughts on that?
I'm gonna have to go spend my Sunday doing some reading.
Yes.
This is amazing.
Oh, well, I'll just tell you, and like the stuff that I've looked up, there really isn't like I'm sure you could find fanfic for the goddess of time, but in my cursory like looks on these things, they're just sort of like, well, maybe this has to be one of the three goddesses when they're talking about the goddess of time, but like they never say goddess of time in Ocarina at all. And what is this shape? The shape that you see under him is strange. But anyway, he says, that horse was really annoying, so don't worry, I got rid of it for you. And yes.
Oh my gosh. Instantly, I'm like, did you just turn my horse into glue? Did you? Sweet baby Epona.
Right. He does say, I'm just messing with you, but also you can't do anything to me anyways. And then he does a little spell on us, does this crazy thing with the mask. And then we get our first sort of trippy nightmare of Link being surrounded by these Deku scrubs and trying to run away from them. And then he gets swallowed up by one. And then we see Link again, and he's been turned into a Deku scrub. Now, Pete, I'm sure you're familiar with this kind of stuff that Link takes on different forms in this game.
Yeah. Well, yeah, this is, I didn't know that he turns into a Deku Scrub like in the beginning. And I do kind of like the way that they almost hurl, like the people in the town, like kind of hurl that at you as like an insult. They're like, you're a Deku Scrub. Like, I don't know. That's the way that I read it every time, of just like, it seems like they look down almost on this kind of like race of creatures.
Oh, there's a lot of casual racism.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, that's actually like, you haven't played a lot of them, but like Twilight Princess has a lot of that too. They do like, and it's not like, in a way, it's not like you're looking at it just being like, oh, I can't believe the writers would do something like this. It's just like, oh no, it's actually pretty much reflective of our own reality. Like there's plenty of places you go to where people just look down on people that are different. It's just like, that's just what happens here. It just actually makes things feel a little bit more realistic in a very sad way.
Yeah.
Because you mentioned that there are places that you can't go in as a Deku Scrub. So like they even bar you from places for not being human, I guess.
Now the guards, well, okay, we're going to have ourselves. So we'll get to that here in a second though. Yeah, no, that's fine. But we get, after this happens, we get introduced to Tattle and Tail, the two fairies, and they're along with the Skull Kid just like making fun of us and all of that, and Tattle specifically like gets right in our face and just like, what you can't do anything about this, leave us alone. And as this is happening, Skull Kid and Tail just start to float backwards and like leave the place and close the door behind us and Tattle. And this is the first instance of Tattle being like, hang on, wait, what's going on? And why would they just leave me like this? What's happening? I thought Skull Kid was cool with and liked hanging out with us. And Tattle goes and says like, hey, you this is your fault. You need to fix this. Go take me back to my brother. And we can open the door and we go chasing after them. Now we do get to this little entrance here with, or this little section here where we have these flowers, and this is where we are taught the mechanic of going into the flowers, jumping up into the air, and we can sort of float through the air. I love this mechanic. But what I'm interested in is after we get through a couple little spots where we have our first little challenge of going from platform to platform, we come across this tree. Pete, what's this tree?
Oh man, you're gonna have to remind me. I'm so sorry.
Oh, this didn't. Okay, so I mean, it didn't stick out to you. Like
you're talking about the tree with the face, kind of that almost instructs you to kind of get down in the flower thing that shoots you up in the air.
Okay, so no, you get to sort of the end of this thing, and then like right near the end, Tattle will be like, "Hey, come over here and look at this tree for me." And then you look at the tree and it looks a little warped, and then Tattle just comments on it. This tree looks really sad.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you know anything about this tree?
It's the dark and gloomy tree is the tree that you're referring to.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm so sorry. My memory is just
no, that's fine. That's fine. For your first time playing through this tree doesn't mean anything. Okay, this tree is the saddest thing in this entire game.
Okay.
Celeste and I know this, but that's what I was interested in bringing up, is that you're going to look at this and just being like, oh, there's a little tree here. And then Celeste and I are just like, oh, this tree.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, is this tree supposed to be significant? I think I may have just glossed over it.
It won't mean anything to you until the end of the game.
The very end of the game. But I love hearing that experience, Pete, because I'm sure when I first played this game 26 years ago, I was like, oh, okay. Like it's very easy to gloss over, which I think it's also very genius storytelling in this game, because you're like, I'm not going to say anything else, but I do also like that Link breaks the fourth wall when he's talking with Tattle. You remember she's saying like, hey, you need to help me, please.
Oh, yeah.
Don't leave a little kid. And he turns to the screen and like shrugs to the audience like, okay, what's going on?
I forgot about that. That's hilarious.
I think it's like one of the only times he does this in this game, but I was like, this was a choice, and I think it's hilarious. A little levity to what seems like a serious situation.
Yeah.
Quick correction. I did say Shigeru Miyamoto was the director of Ocarina of Time. I was wrong. Eiji Aonuma was also the director on this one, but he was like third build director. And this is Majora's Mask. He's first build with like half as many people that worked on this one. So just a correction on that.
Oh, okay, got it.
Yes. So if anyone's going to go in the comments, still go in the comments, say something, but don't mention that.
well, actually, yeah, you're waiting for that.
Well, you can't actually me on that now. So after we go past this tree, that is the saddest thing in this entire game. We go through a little warp that is very much like the forest temple in Ocarina, with the weird windy sort of things that you're going through on there, and it does like a really interesting effect. And we find ourselves down in a sewer looking kind of place, I guess. And the door closes behind us. And we get some new music and all of this stuff. We go make our way up and we start to leave the door and we get stopped. And we're just like, hey, you have been met with a terrible fate, haven't you? Just the classic line from this here. And this is where we meet Happy Mask Salesman. Which is the name that's what he calls himself, is the Happy Mask Salesman. And this is a different model than one before. In Ocarina, we saw him behind a counter the whole time. Now he has his entire shop on his back. Very reminiscent of Beetle in Breath of the Wild, right? Giant sack behind him. He's got all these masks on there, and he's got his Mario mask that people love to point out. He's got one that looks like Mario.
Elvis.
And Elvis for some reason. And he goes and explains to us that he's also in a situation like this, that there is that imp. He always refers to him as an imp. Had stolen a mask of mine that has terrible power. And if it is not returned, that something devastating will happen. It will be the end of everything. And so if you go and get your special item back, he's very vague about it. He knows what we need, but he won't say what it is. Get your special item back, and then also get mine. We can help each other out. So now we have an immediate goal for us, and we're going to walk out the door. But before that, we're going to take a quick break. When we get back, we were going to go and look around the world of Clocktown. Hey, listen, we've got some listener feedback. I mentioned it on our last episode that we want to go ahead and bring this stuff up. There's quite a few that we had while we were away that people were saying like, oh, bring the show back and all that. And like, hey, we're back and we appreciate it. And we love you for sticking around. And we do hope that, what we've able to start back up here again with this new arc, let's call it, this new era of Chat of the Wild. We hope that you're having a good time with it. But I just wanted to go through some of the reviews that we have over on Apple Podcasts. You can go ahead and give us a review, and we'll go ahead and read the nice ones on here. We'll read the nice ones. Feel free to be honest, but we're going to only read the nice ones on here. So we have from Lena Flickman. They just say, yes. Thanks for coming back. So happy to be back.
Yeah.
Supreme Nerd of Awesomeness says, we're so back, guys. Celeste and Pete, welcome.
Oh, thanks.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. We're so back.
We're so back. Zeke Pizza 9999 says, welcome, Celeste and Pete. I look forward to listening to you for many seasons. I thank you for joining the podcast.
Oh, well, thank you for listening. Yeah,
look forward to playing a lot of awesome games.
Yeah, you really have to pull my arm or what is it, to get me to talk
pull
about
my leg.
Pull my something.
Yeah.
I don't
pull
know,
my extremities. Yeah.
Yeah, you have to force me to talk about Zelda here. Yeah, it's a real big ask.
Kalos Poke Fan 01 says, I am so happy Chat of the Wild is back. I'm so excited for games to come. Me too.
Yeah, me too.
Skyluker 99. I'm one of the biggest Zelda fans ever. I just listened to your first few episodes, and I can tell that you put a lot of work in the show. I'm so grateful to have you guys talk about these games as I play them and give me some insight. You guys make me laugh. Can't wait for, and unfortunately, I cut off after that.
Aww.
But more fun episodes is what I assume it says.
Yeah, thanks for listening.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Sunny Lopsy 5000 says, "Yay! So glad you were back." And then they made a little Triforce symbol with the emojis.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I didn't know you could do that.
Stay away from those app. That's the name. That's the username they have on here. I have been listening to your series. Finally finishing Twilight Princess while I run. That's cool. Glad that keep you motivated on that.
Wow. Yeah.
I love your commentary as you go through the game and look forward to doing Wind Waker or Majora's Mask next. We're doing Majora's Mask, so there's that.
Well, hope you enjoy that.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Hope
your runs are going well.
Yes. And hope your runs are going well. Absolutely.
Yeah, keeping you charged up.
Was sad to hear when you left a couple years ago, but I'm happy to see you were just now returning. I grew up in the 80s with OG Zelda, my favorite series. So
Mine too.
Yeah, thank you for that. And then we over in Spotify, if you go and look at this episode, if you're listening to us on Spotify, there's a comment section for each episode. So you can comment on there. If I come up with some questions that I want to do a poll on or something like that, we can put those on there. Haven't had anything come to mind necessarily yet on this. Some of them, it was just like, is this character annoying? And it's like, yes or no. And you do a poll on that. But we have, Lyra Riley said, if you see this, you should read the Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess mangas. 4 books, books for all you peeps who don't know what a manga is, but I don't think you're dumb. Thank you.
Oh, that one's on my list. I don't have that Twilight Princess one yet on my list.
I do have the Twilight Princess, but yeah, it's a big series. Like that's the one that they really went like full in on.
I've never read any manga, but hearing you guys talk about it, it has made me really curious of like, we hit these like certain story beats and I'm like, I wonder how they handled that in the books. So this might be my first kind of foray into those.
The only other manga series I've read through, and it's because it had an end, was Attack on Titan. I loved Attack on Titan. I haven't actually watched the animated one, but I loved the books, and the fact that it ended is good. Like I know people talk about how great One Piece is and all this stuff. I'm like, but it's still going. It's why would I like? I don't want that. I want an end to something.
Oh, Pete, so you haven't read any manga?
No, none.
Okay.
Not a single. Okay. Anytime. I mean, I had of course seen them at like Scholastic book fairs and stuff when I was in school, and I've seen them at bookstores, but I've just never taken that dive. So maybe this is the time.
It's cool. Yeah, they're fun and they're easy. They're super digestible. You can literally read one of those books in an hour.
Oh yeah.
Like it doesn't even less possibly.
Okay. If you get a digital version, do you still flip right to left?
That's a good question.
Yes. Yeah, you do. Because I did it with Attack on Titan. Because I read it all digitally and it still did that. Because you also have to read right to left. That's the thing that throws off people the most, like Westerners off the most, is it's not just you're turning the pages. We tend to read, because I read a lot of graphic novels and comics, and you still read left to right, top to bottom. And sometimes there's conversations going on where the bubbles are in different places, and you learn to read them in this order. It's the other way around for manga. So that's honestly, I think, the more confusing thing when you're getting into those, not just the turning the pages.
Yeah.
JH Spotify with a D says, I do not need to play the games anymore. Smiley emoji. This podcast is amazing.
You should still play the games. You should still play the games. Yeah. Still play the games.
Play them along with us.
Yes.
Ailey says, funnily enough, there have been reputable leaks that an Ocarina of Time remake is in the works for the Switch 2 this year. The Zelda movie is also supposed to be based off Ocarina of Time. I don't think we know enough about about the Zelda movie to really surmise anything other than Link, Zelda, and Impa are in it. That's, I think, the only things that we know so far. But Zelda 40th is going to be stacked. I can't wait for the Nintendo Direct in June. Fingers crossed we get one in June. The rumor is that we'll have one in the next 2 weeks or so, but we'll see. I've said that a couple times now. We'll see. I'm super excited for it. Maybe we'll do some reaction thing on here for it. If we get a Zelda trailer, you can also keep an eye out. We're going to do keep an eye out. We are going to do a special about that. We did it with Tears of the Kingdom. Every time we got a trailer, we're going to do that for any other Zelda stuff going forward.
Are you guys feeling optimistic about that, given how they've been putting out some movies and TV shows about video games that are quality? So are you feeling more optimistic than you would have in the past?
I think I've said I don't have any money riding on any video game movies. Like I just don't uh, I don't care about them. I don't care about the novelty of them. If it's like a good movie, I'm going to see the Zelda one in theaters. I'm absolutely going to do that. I have no hopes for it whatsoever. I'm just going to sit there and be like, let's see what you do. And if they, they'll make some references and I think it's going to be fun, that's great. But that's my feelings on it. I'm just like, I'm indifferent in the end.
Okay.
I'm going to see it no matter what. I don't care.
Yeah.
They're getting my money.
I'm not going to be angry because it's not like it's going to ruin the games. You know?
Yeah. That makes sense.
Last one we'll do for today from Matthew Millard. They are talking about looking back on our Skyward Sword season, but Skyward Sword is my favorite Zelda game simply for the story and the dungeons. Sometimes the controls can be iffy, but in general, I think the controls get way too much hate, and it is one of its defining aspects. The controls make everything a puzzle, even enemies, and I believe it was utilized well in the dungeons. The thing about the game is that it is almost a Metroid Light, where Link gets tools through the story that helps open the world. And what's great about it is its overworld is a dungeon. Yeah, I agree. That. So yeah, I know, Pete, you haven't played that one. Celeste, Skyward Sword.
Yeah.
What are your feelings on that one?
I think it's beautiful. It's like a painting, like an impressionist painting.
Mm-hmm.
I do have it on Switch. I haven't played the Switch version yet, but the controls were cool, but there were times I got frustrated with them. I think it's very innovative, but sometimes it was hard to fight bosses, but it's a fun game. Do you like it, Jeremy? What do you think about it?
So here's the funny thing is that I used to write this website I wrote for years ago. I don't think it's around anymore. It's called Koku Gamer. I gave Skyward Sword a 10 out of 10. The first time I played it, I was like, this is amazing. And then when we went back and replayed it for this show, I was like, it's fine. It's okay. Like it is a balance of cool things and frustrating things, and it finds itself in the middle there for me. I don't hate it, but it's not perfect. It is far from a 10 out of 10. It's like a 7 out of 10, maybe.
Do you think playing the other games around so close to replaying that one made you realize, or kind of colored your thoughts on it at all about how
for
it stacks up?
For sure. Just the going back and being able to look at it in a retrospective kind of way, where I can play some of these old games. I can go back and play Ocarina. I can play Ocarina over and over again. I'll be able to do that until I die. Like it will be a game that I'm going to go back to. Same with Majora's Mask. Then you have games like Minish Cap is one that I'm excited to go back and replay again, because I know that one is very replayable. Link to the Past is very replayable as well, but I don't feel as pulled in. Link's Awakening is one I will play over and over again. Skyward Sword, I'll do it a third time at some point, sure. But maybe that'll be the last time I play it. Is I'll do one more playthrough, maybe go for like 100% on it, and then just be like, good, I'll probably never play that game again. Yeah. Anyways, go and leave us some comments. You can do it over on Apple Reviews, or you can do it on the Spotify comments. You can email us at contact@chattelwild.com. Thank you to Haunted for editing this episode, and thank you to Mikel for use of his music. Be sure to check out the Zelda and Chill series, as well as other lo-fi albums that they put out. You can find links to all those things down below in the show description. Thank you to Pete. Thank you to Celeste for going on this journey with us. And let's get back to the show. Welcome back. We are here in a new land. We come out and we see my favorite thing about this game, all these people just moving around. At first, we just have the workers that are just basically going in circles. But if you sit there long enough, you're going to see one person walk from one side of the area to another. And that alone is just like, we didn't get any of that in Ocarina. Like no characters other than the mailman, I believe, was the only one that you would ever see like moving from one place to another. And in this one, we see a bunch of different people doing that. And Tattle knows about Clocktown. So this is where things get a little weird, because the manga mentions this, but because Link doesn't talk in here, we don't get that, because in the manga, Link asks about Hyrule, and one of the people, I believe it's Anju that he's talking to, she's just like, I don't know, I've never heard of Hyrule. I don't know what you're talking about. In here, we don't talk, so there isn't any sort of back and forth conversation on that. But really, where we're at right now, we know it's called Termina, and it is its own place that doesn't know anything about the Triforce or Zelda or, Hyrule Castle or anything like that. It is just this town in the middle of this land that has its own stuff going on. Now,
yeah. I kind of wish that we could go back in the clock tower after it's closed, because when you, and I know this and Jeremy knows this, if you strike the grass in certain areas, it shakes and disappears, and that's significant later in the game, and I would have loved to interact with it.
Yeah, I've been curious about that, where the grass seems to run away from you if you start to try to chop it down. I'm a little curious to see what's going on with that.
Yeah, just a fun, it's kind of a fun thing, but then there's something later that happens with it. So yeah, we'll get to that on our mask journey.
Yes,
that we'll be covering.
I notice, because I've played this, I would always slow down time, but it reminds me how fast this game goes using the regular time. And I'm a little jealous. The 3DS version is beautiful. I love all the things like the posters on the wall. It's clear. It kind of reminds me of Twilight Princess graphics, but I miss the ornate clock at the bottom of the screen. Now I just see this line.
Yeah. It's cool. I mean, it's a very distinct looking UI for sure on that. Like, yeah, the clock is so interesting. It's just this like really detailed thing that you can look at, and you can find all these little things on it, and it has layers. Like you can see that it has a circle part that changes with the sun on it and everything. It doesn't change like that on the 64 version. Like it is a static image that does, I believe. Although maybe it does. I have to go back and look at that. But you're right. It is really cool to just have this distinct looking icon in the middle of your screen the entire time. And Pete, so you'll have that as well on yours. But I'm sure it looks a lot nicer than the 64 version.
Yeah. I feel like I don't have, you know what? I do have a clock, I guess, that does this like kind of like curved upside down U shape.
Yes.
Yeah. So I've had that to be able to kind of refer to, but I do forget that it's there occasionally. And so I'll just be running around, and the screen will cut to black, and it'll be like, you have this much time left. You better hurry up.
I remember when I first got this game, I was so confused. I was 13 years old at the time, something like that, when this game came out, and I was so excited. I was like, the next Zelda game, and I got it like when it came out, or I mean, maybe not like exactly when, because I got it like at Costco for a birthday gift. I'd have to check when. Let me check real quick of when did this game come out?
I think November 2000. Something like that.
It came out October 26th, 2000.
Okay.
So yeah, I would have been 13 years old at the time there. And I would have got it on my birthday, which is mid-November. So it would have been out for a month at that time. So, still new within a month of it coming out. So, but I remember getting it, and I thought something was wrong with my game. Because when it does the fade to black and it does the dun dun, like shows you the how much time you have left, I was like, what is this? What's happening? What is this game? I don't understand. I thought I had like some broken fan made game. Like I think even at the time I was playing like mods and stuff on like my family computer, like downloading like Japanese games and stuff like that. And I think I had this like thought in my head of like, am I playing like a bootleg? Is this isn't Zelda? What's going on? Like, let's go. Like, it's all this stuff that I recognize, but it looks like someone like this isn't like a Nintendo made game. Someone else made this game.
Yeah.
I got the player's guide before I got the game. I remember going to the mall on Black Friday. I got the player's guide. I still have it somewhere. And then I got
great.
I'll have to bring it for the next one and kind of just hold it up. But I don't know if I can't remember if I read the whole thing like a book and I spoiled anything for myself, but I was probably just so anxious to get the game, and I got it for Christmas. So, the player's guide, I think, kind of helped me kind of have an idea of what was about to happen with whatever I read. But yeah, I can see that unsettling feeling like, wait, you mean I don't have time to just pitter patter and putz around?
That's like the vibe of this one is so much different, I feel, compared to Ocarina, because when you get into Ocarina, it's like you're like, oh, I'm just this little kid running around in this little fantasy sunny area, and it's this happy, it's not gloomy. You're just kind of in nature. You're disconnected. I don't know. It was just this like very wholesome, bright feeling. And then you get into this one, and it's just doom and gloom. Everything. It's a little creepy. Even the happy mask salesman is a little creepier than I remember.
A little.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know if I should be alone with this guy.
Yeah.
And then the kids are like, hey, yeah, there's, and the what is it? The clock tower guy is the only guy that likes playing with us. And I was like, even that, I'm like, what's going on here? This town has some seedy individuals.
You reminded me, Pete, there is something unique about the 3DS version in the clock tower with the Happy Mask Salesman, and he points it out. There's this little mask you can walk into for hints. Is that in your version that you're playing?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I didn't
Probably
see
not.
one.
No, because that would have to be, that is a very 3DS thing. Ocarina of Time did that as well in the 3D version. You have a Sheikah Stone that you can crawl into, and it just brings up this menu of what hints do you need to continue forward. It's cool. It's cool that they were just like, we're just going to put a walkthrough in the game for you. It's like, that's actually pretty nice. Because I remember in the Ocarina one, it will just tell you where all the heart pieces are. Like if you want to go and find all the heart pieces, it'll just tell you. And I think the Majora's Mask one probably does that as well. But, so we have this place to explore. Now, Pete, did you freely explore for a while and figure out the stuff on your own, or were you following a guide to get to where you needed to go?
I wasn't following a guide, but I did kind of have in the back of my head of like, I think if I don't follow these instructions in time, then I'll have to restart.
Yes.
So I was a little bit of like, okay, I don't want to compromise having this like new experience kind of running around in here by just rushing through everything. But I was able to knock out all the objectives in my like exploration of just getting my feet under me in the town and figuring out which section is north, east, but the way that they block it off and the different like entrances that you can go in. So I felt like I got to explore and accomplish the tasks that I needed to.
Good. That's what I was hoping for, especially with you doing this stuff. Cause like, I really would encourage you, as we're going into here to really like, especially after this episode too, don't look at the guides until you like really are just like actually lost. Cause I think the game does a lot of good signposting, especially when it does intentionally limit you on what you can do. Like you can only go so many places as a Deku Scrub here. You can only do so many different things here. If you talk to enough people, and there's not a lot of people, there's like 20 people in this game. Yeah. It's not like this crazy amount. This isn't like a Witcher or a Skyrim or what. Yeah, like you talk to every person and they have something. They'll have something meaningless to say.
Right.
You're only dealing with like couple dozen people, and even here you can only really talk to like 6 or 7 different people that aren't just like working at a shop in a mini game or something like that. So
I think they do a good job. If you don't go chat with them, then you miss a lot. Like I think they gave me a lot of indications of, where do I need to go? Like they just constantly hint like, don't tell Jim at the clock tower about that. So that's your idea of like, gotta go rat on him really quick. Go tell Jim this immediately. See what Jim's got to say.
Tattle does do a good job of telling us where to go to because she knows this place, and she's like, the person we need to go to, they're going to know what's up. Go to the Great Ferry. They're up on the north side. And so it just tells you immediately, we'll go here, go do all that. And then when we get there, we see that the ferry has been broken into pieces into these weird giant baby fairy looking things. Like they look like
duck faces and
duck face, but their head looks like a fruit, like a pear with little body dangling off of it. It's a strange look.
I've seen that like the image of those before, but I cannot remember where. Like I've seen that specific face, and it looks, I don't know, it looks kind of like silly to me, the way that they're like pursing their lips in a weird way, and yeah, they're interesting.
Can y'all do the duck face? Or y'all is this a is that duck face?
Their eyes are like floating around.
This will be the thumbnail for the
We're all doing the duck face. It's very different from the final form of the fairies.
Yeah.
But we're told that they've been broken into pieces by the Skull Kid, and that you need to go find one of the broken pieces out there. The piece will be in one of two places that you can go and check out. And it depends if it's day or nighttime. So there's two different spots that it shows up on. And it gives you encouragement to just go and wander around. It doesn't say specifically. They don't even tell you, just like it's out there somewhere. There are 6 quadrants, maybe 5, because one of them wraps around the side, something like that you can go, 4 or 5, something like that you can go and check out. And you'll clearly just see it floating around. It's this 2D sprite thing that just like is really bright and sticks out from everything else. You go and capture it, take it back, and Great Fairy gains its form back, turns into the beautiful lady that floats around and laughs and all of this stuff. And she gives you the ability to spit.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Where
Blow little bubbles.
Yes.
I can't do that with my nose. That is some talent. But speaking of attacks, I noticed in the 3DS version, when you spin as the Deku Scrub, little thorns and spikes come out of his hat, which threw me off. I was like, where's this coming from? What is this?
They put a little bit more flair into a lot of this stuff, for sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love his little spin where he drags his foot. Do you get like on the 3DS version, do you get the little like tire mark almost from his foot come on the ground?
I think
that's so fun to me.
Yeah. I know, he's like a little ballerina. Whoosh,
yeah.
whoosh.
Some of the mechanics, like growing up as a PlayStation kid, especially the gliding mechanic in this, made me think of Ratchet and Clank.
Sure.
Just like spinning around, hitting stuff. Made me think that maybe some parts of Ratchet and Clank were inspired.
It could be, sure. Yeah. I mean, they're definitely like, it's old enough that could have been inspiring a lot of different games like that, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now that we have the ability to shoot these bubbles out, we have a ranged attack. There is a big floating balloon out there that if we go and hit that, we can talk to Jim, and Jim will go and say like, oh, you can't actually be a part of the what are they called? The bombers, right? Yeah, is that what they just call themselves? The bombers.
The bombers.
But you can at least play a game with us, and maybe we'll make you an honorary member. And they play a game of hide and seek. Other thing to note in this area is we meet my favorite guy, Tingle, brand new here, love Tingle. And he sells us maps. So as we're collecting some rupees here, we might be like, what are these for? What can we do here? You can buy a map of the area you're in and then some area later. And I believe that's always cheaper when you're buying something from that's a map for somewhere else. So anytime you see Tingle, buy the maps that he has.
We are now older than Tingle.
Yeah.
I realized that, and he's like, I'm 35 years old. And I was like, oh.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember thinking that was ancient when I played this game. And
right. It was supposed to be embarrassing because he wanted to be a fairy boy and go on adventures, but he lives with his parents still, and his parents are telling him to get a job, but he knows that he needs to go out and be a fairy boy.
He has a job. He's a cartographer.
Yes. Very important job, for sure. But yeah, then we go and do the challenge of the bombers and go play hide and seek. And so we have to go and find all these kids. And then once we do, they'll give us the password that lets us go into the little back alley area that is their hideout. Now, this one, Pete, did you have any problems figuring this one out? Because I know Celeste and I have been through this, and we probably had an idea of where we needed to go and what we needed to do.
I don't think so. After you mentioned that Tattle gives you those hints, I did remember that like Tattle was really a huge help to me, because I would
Mm-hmm.
I would get something and not really realize that I had accomplished the objective that we were after.
Yeah.
And then Tattle would interrupt me and be like, hey, what are you doing? Why are you wasting time wandering around? Do you know that you only have 20 hours left?
Yeah.
So yeah, that helped a lot. I would get a lot of hints from Tattle.
Good.
Yes. I also like how they frame it. I mean, having played this game, I like how the frame is you only have this many hours, not to save the world, but to get the item back in time for the happy mask salesman.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because the happy mask salesman says, "Oh, I'll be leaving here in 3 days." Just a coincidence with what's going on out there.
Yeah. I might be jumping the gun a little bit, but at no point do they mention that you can look up and see this extremely menacing moon kind of coming your way, right?
People talk about the moon.
Did that on accident. Oh, they do. Okay.
Yeah, if you talk to people, they'll like reference it. It's really, but to your point, it's not.
It's like subtle.
It's not. I don't want to say top of mind. Like it is, but it isn't. People are way more worried about what they're doing in their lives and the carnival of time coming up. I find.
Okay.
Yes.
I think I accidentally looked up at one point and didn't realize that it would be as close.
It's a jump
overbearing
scare.
as it is.
So we go and we get the password after we do all that. They show us the number and everything. 3DS, you do get, at this point, they do give you the Bomber's Notebook too. The 64 version, you don't get the Bomber's Notebook yet. So you do need to either remember or write this down. And here's the thing. When I first played this game, I never got the Bomber's Notebook. I don't think I've ever gotten the Bomber's Notebook on the 64 version. I thought the 3DS, the Bomber's Notebook was a thing they added to it. Which it is. The Bomber's Notebook, we're going to be talking about it. It is so important. Well, I had the guide. I had the same guide as you did. The Prima guide, I think, or something like that.
Yeah, he's on the horse. He's on Epona.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or no, I don't actually know. So I think we had different guides. Mine had just the logo on it. It had the Majora's Mask, and it just had the logo on there.
Well, I will bring it for next time.
Yeah. So Celeste, you have the Bomber's Notebook now, which gives you timelines of all this stuff. Now it's mostly blank, and things will get added to it as we talk to people, and they mention about like, oh, something's happening at 3:35 p.m. tomorrow or something like that, and then it gets added into your book. I'm very interested in doing it on the 64 this time, of seeing what the Bomber's Notebook looks like. But we go through here, we go through that alleyway. We find ourselves in an underground area. We make our way up, and then we get to the Astral Observatory with one of my favorite songs of Zelda, period. I love this song so much.
Perfect wedding song, I think.
Okay, sure.
I think it would be beautiful to hear at a wedding.
Yeah.
Which one is this?
It's an exclusive. I mean, it was an original song for it. It's just like I believe it's called Astral Observatory.
Okay,
is the song for it. It's really nice. It's just like such a pleasant song. I don't believe it references like any old Zelda tunes. I could be wrong. There might be something from like Link to the Past or Link's Awakening that it starts from or something like that. But we also have the Scarecrow here, that if we go and talk to him, he'll be like, hey, what's going on? You want to dance until nighttime? And he also gives us the hint of, oh, by the way, there's this like special magic song that I heard that if you play it double time, you'll speed up time. And if you play it backwards, you'll slow down time. So something to keep in mind there. But Celeste's version is also going to be different on that. We go up here. There is the scientist, I guess. He's the old man that's at the observatory, and he's looking through here, and he's saying about like, oh yeah, there was that weird imp that came through here, and he kept asking about a moon's tear, and he wanted to take mine. And I said, no, you can't have it. I think you can see him if you look through my telescope here. And so we look through that, and you can look up there. And another interesting thing, this is a recently discovered thing about Majora's Mask, which we'll circle back around. I normally start this each season talking about this. Whatever name you picked for your character will generate a different star map in the sky.
What?
So just a fun little thing. Nobody really knew about that for the longest time, but they figured it out.
A star map? Really?
Yeah. So mine's Link. I just went with Link with this. Celeste.
Link.
Pete?
Yeah, Link. It feels weird doing any other
we
name.
all got the same stars.
Really? Wait, so it depends on a certain name triggers it, or
The letter, whatever letters you use, like that combination of things creates a different. I don't think it's. I think it is literally like the stars. The dots are just their own programmed thing, and that like it's just different depending on the name that you pick. So
that's kind of cool.
That's something they did there. But if we go and look up on top of the clock tower, we'll see Skull Kid up there, and then he makes a gesture at us, and then looks up, and we look at the moon, and now you definitely see the moon here, and a thing comes out of its eye and falls down, and then at the last second, the telescope looks back at the Skull Kid, and he smacks his butt at us before disappearing.
Yeah.
I thought it was a little extra creepy that he just happened to know that we were looking at him in that moment. Like he looks right into the camera, into the scope.
Yep.
He knows all. Well, if you also kind of move the telescope around, you might see some fun little things happening in the field.
Sure. Yeah.
I spent a while looking around in that field because I wasn't totally sure. I was like, where is he? Where's he going to be? Like, is he going to be... Is this like Where's Waldo? Is he going to be hiding behind like a tree or something like that until eventually you see him up there by his lonesome?
Yeah.
Oh,
it just locks in.
This is me. Like, this is an epiphany for me. This is so obvious. Because you know how the observatory, you access it through Clocktown. And then I was like, well, how is he looking at the clock tower if he's in Clocktown? But the underground labyrinth takes you technically outside of Clocktown.
Yes.
Yeah.
This area is just outside of it.
Yeah, that's true. I was thinking about it because you can see the outside of it when you're outside of Clocktown.
Right.
That's
now,
true.
do you eventually get kind of like in Ocarina of Time where you had that whole field to run around in? Is there an open area like that in this game? Okay.
Yep.
Gotcha.
We'll get to that.
That's exciting.
Yeah, the next episode, you're going to have fun time just being able to run around there for sure.
Awesome.
But yeah, we'll get through this trade sequence real quick on here. So we go outside. We've got the moon tier. We go and pick that up. Now, if you had ran into him earlier, there is a little Deku scrub spot. It's a little golden spot. If you get close enough to it, you get this cutscene. 3DS version, after you do it the first time, I believe it does like a skip ahead kind of thing, or he's like always there. Unfortunately, the 64 version, every time you get near that, you get close enough, stops what you're doing. You have to sit there and watch this Deku scrub be like, hang on a second, that's my spot, and slowly fly over to us.
Oh, yeah. It seemed a little faster this time.
Yes.
Yeah. He hung out in the hole this time for me, I think.
Okay. Well, no. When we restart. So once it restarts again, as soon as you get near it's an unskippable scene in the 64. So maybe they fix that in the Ship of Arcadian version, but 64, it'll be every time you get near it, stops everything and does all that over again. But he says like, oh, he's a salesman here. He's selling his wares, but he's pretty much done. Or he hasn't been able to sell much, but he needs to get home to his wife, and it's her either birthday or he needs to get a gift for her or something like that. And he was like, what I really want is one of those moon tiers I've been hearing about. So you get in the moon tier, and this is where we also get introduced to what we're going to be doing a lot of here's an item that I have, right? Which I believe in Ocarina, we don't get prompted as often of like, hey, do you happen to have something like that? You have to just be like, you have to know, target the person and then do it. Majora's Mask, I believe, changes it where they say, this is what I'm looking for. Do you happen to have that? And it'll sit on a screen and be like, select the items from your thing to give him the item that he needs. We give him the moons tier. He gives us the deed to his little plant, and that lets us then pop up and reach the top of the little platform that we need to get up there when the time comes. Now, this leaves us free to go and explore some more. I know I just sat here because I was like, I'll be able to do all that stuff later. And it's just kind of fun to watch that. I did also dance with a scarecrow a couple times just to speed things up.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. I wandered around because it had been a while since I played, and I played Honey and Darling's mini game.
Okay.
Which this isn't a big spoiler because you can access it at any time, but I won it, and I got a fishing pond ticket. So this is new to the 3DS version then, because there's no fishing pond in the N64 version.
Yep, they added fishing to the 3DS, so you'll have that as a fun little aside.
Is it the same mechanic as Ocarina of Time?
Yes.
Okay.
But they just, they have different challenges in there. I think that's where they shuffle some of the heart pieces in those, and there's more than one fishing location.
I love fishing in games for some reason. I just love it so much. Just random fishing mini games and bigger games is so fun.
Do you fish in real life?
Nope.
As well? Okay. Yeah.
I've tried for sure. I haven't successfully caught anything. But yeah, I don't know what it is about it. I also this is just a side note, but I've been like obsessed with this game for a while called web fishing, which is just standing around fishing. There's something about fishing in games. It's just a good time. It's relaxing.
Nice. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I don't fish in real life, which is surprising considering I live in like sportsman's paradise, but fishing in video games, they make it so relaxing.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Do you like fishing games, Jeremy?
Yeah, I mean, fishing games are fun, and I did a lot of fishing when I was younger. My grandparents live on this lake, and so we'd go down there and do all that stuff. And so it's like, I know how to get a hook out of a fish. I don't like it. Not a fan of, tricking these fish into doing that, and then because really, like, most of the time it's just like you get that hook out of them, they are hurt, and they will probably not live as long of a life as they would have otherwise.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't like that idea.
That does bum me out a little bit.
Yeah. But yeah, this video game fishing, and they're not harming them. I don't even like eating fish. Like, I'm not against it. It's just I don't like the taste of fish, other than some sushi.
Oh, okay.
I love some salmon. Oof.
Oh, yeah. Now I'm hungry. It's almost lunchtime.
It is. I'm getting there too. So yeah, let's get through the rest of this stuff here. So I mean, Pete, did you do anything else here before we get to the end here?
Not really. I think I did spend a little time kind of wrapping my head around some of the controls in a way that inhibited my ability to just kind of run around. I didn't realize that you could hold the bubble that you shoot. So I kept shooting it, and it would like veer off to the left.
Yeah. Yep.
And I had somebody popped into my comments, and they were very like, they didn't spoil anything, but they were like, hey, if you hold the button down, you'll have a better time. So that was nice. And I think I just kind of wandered around flying into different things, wondering if like maybe I could push a window open or something, or get into some secret areas.
A window.
There's one spot that there's a way that you can sneak into.
Yeah, I just figure like they must be packing some secrets into these, and it would be fun to just kind of, I don't know, something about my experience with Mario 64 made me think that maybe some textures are something that you can kind of fly through to a degree. Like, I think I tried to fly through a window that just looked more like a suggestion than anything. I don't know. It's
no, I will tell you no. But you'll find a place where there is a door.
Okay.
So there is that for sure. But yeah, so and you're going to have so many more opportunities to do that, to check out all these things, and it's very much encouraged to see everything that this game has to offer for sure.
Did y'all talk to people on the final day and within the final hours? I mean, I know, Jeremy, you said you kind of just sped it up because you knew what happened, but like I went talk to the postal worker, and his situation always makes me sad.
Yeah, Pete, did you do
No, I don't think that I did. I think the later that it got, the more I felt a little like pinched for time. I should have just let it kind of roll over and restart, because it only took me an hour and 20 minutes to get the ocarina back, which I was kind of surprised how quickly that process was. So I almost like wished at the end that I had let the day end and just kind of restart and have a little bit more time to run around. But I am looking forward to, hopefully there is still an opportunity to go back and get those messages from them. Cause I'm when I looked up and saw that moon, that should have been an indication of like, maybe I should go talk to people and see if they're freaking out about how close that moon is to us right now.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. You're going to have so many opportunities to do this over and over again. I would very much suggest you fail. Just to see it. Let the time go and just see what happens. But yeah, I love it is ominous and uncomfortable, but the song that plays in the final hours, like even I was just sitting there at the entrance. The carnival happens right in the last 12 hours of the day or the night. And you see the clock tower changes and these stairs open. But then this music kicks in that I love it. It is so unnerving and uncomfortable, but like it's a beautiful sounding song for sure.
Oh my God. What a juxtaposition.
Yes.
The fireworks are going off, and then you just have this sense of doom.
Yep. Yeah. But we go up there and we get a scene where the Skull Kid is just sort of in a daze. He's not really like paying much attention to you or anything like that. We do see that like Tattle's trying to reach out and be like, Skull Kid, what's going on? What's happening? And Tail goes and tells us, find the 4 creatures, giants. I'm trying to remember what they're giants. Yeah. Earth, swamp, snow, and desert, I believe is the terms. Canyon.
Maybe? Oh yeah. Canyon, because of the name of the location. Yeah.
Yes.
Close, very close. It's like a desert.
Find those 4 and all that. And then we do see that Skull Kid didn't like that and strikes Tail, goes and gives him a smack, and that really upsets Tattle, and it's just like, what's going on? This is unlike you. What's happening? And then, we just see like Skull Kid is in a weird state and all of that. And then he's just like, I'm just going to bring the whole thing down. And he does this scream, which I will always be able to hear that in my head. I've heard it forever. And then you see the moon, it just sort of shakes a bit and starts getting closer and closer. And then the music really kicks in and it's just like, you better hurry up. And if you don't have your magic ability, say you got to this point and didn't get your magic ability, then you're screwed. You can't do anything.
Oh my God, I didn't even think about that.
Yep.
There's a possibility you could get all this way without getting the bubble ability.
Yep.
Yeah.
But Pete, did you have any kind of like little frantic, like, wait, what am I supposed to do? Or did you like have a good idea?
I think I had a good idea because they said get that back from, and I knew it was that object. So I was like, I can't reach him from where he is. I must have to hit him. Which, like, if I didn't know the hold the bubble mechanic at that point, I probably would have wasted all my magic just trying to shoot him and would have been in that position. But fortunately, managed to just kind of like hold the bubble and smack him with it, and get that ocarina back.
So we pick up the ocarina and we get a little flashback of us leaving. Zelda just giving her farewell for us, and we do see the Pony Epona over here, and she reteaches us, reminds us that the Song of Time is an important song, and I think she says, because even Tattle at this time is just like, help us, goddess of time. And it's just like, goddess of time. I forgot that they say that in here. And I don't think is said in any other game. But they haven't done time mechanics really in any other game, like in this way. Skyward Sword had a time mechanic, but it wasn't like this. And so, we get a flashback there. We bring up our ocarina, and because we're a Deku scrub, we get these like all these horns that pop up behind us, and Tattle is like, "What? When did you get that? What is this?"
I do love that it's not an ocarina for the Deku scrub.
Yes. So Pete, I mean, that was probably a good surprise to you, right? Like getting to see like, it's different instruments.
Yeah. That was pretty interesting. I mean, so much of this just feels like a fever dream compared to like ocarina. So that was pretty interesting.
Yeah. But we play the song, and then that resets time where we get this interesting scene where everything's really white and it shows all these clocks, and then we are falling down through these clocks, and then we get a cut scene that sort of just like montages through the stuff we had just before we got to the bottom of the clock tower, and takes us right back into there. We go back up, and then we see the happy mask salesman again, and he's just like, I see you got your item. Well, here, let me help you out here. Play this song here. And this is one of my favorite ocarina songs, the Song of Healing. This is a new song here. And when we do that, we do get another little scene that was like the nightmare scene that we saw before. But it's Link like just waving bye. He's just like, bye, friends. Good to hang out with you.
And where'd the organ come from?
Yeah. Was it there? I guess I didn't pay attention. Could it have been there when we ran past?
I don't think so. I don't, because
I'm going to start a new save file. I'm going to take a look at that.
I don't think there's an organ.
Yeah. Maybe I could probably just look back on my stream and see if we just ran past it, just didn't notice it there. But he's just like, now that I've helped you, and now you have your original form back, and the Deku scrub falls off of your face as a wooden mask. He's like, all right, now give me the thing that you owe me. He's like, what do you mean? You don't have it. And then he starts shaking us. He's like upset, and he's freaking out, and he's just like, don't you understand? I need this back. And then tells us, you need to get that mask back and, figure this stuff out. So he knows we had this conversation with him, and somehow he is aware of the things, because when we walk back out, everything is set back to day one and nobody remembers anything except for us and the Happy Mask Salesman. So that's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Does Happy Mask Salesman mention your interactions at all with him in Hyrule during the course of this game?
No.
You just kind of like, okay.
No. I mean, you were just a customer before.
Gotcha.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Pete, you just reminded what Jeremy was saying, how you were asking, do people remember that Link is the hero of time, an Ocarina of Time? He's kind of experiencing this again. I mean, of course, you could compare it to the movie Groundhog's Day, where you just keep repeating every 3 days. But nobody in Termina, first of all, they don't know you. They don't know Hyrule, but they also don't realize what you're doing for them. They don't realize the pivotal moments you were going through.
I have, not knowing where the story goes for this, my gut instinct is to feel a lot of skepticism around the Happy Mask Salesman, where he just is. I don't know if it's just like over time, maybe back in the day, he was less of an unsettling character, but to me, he seems untrustworthy. And I'm like, a little part of me is like, okay, well, what's your motivation for wanting to get this mask back? Why is it so important? What's different about this mask that makes it so important to you? And if I get this mask back to you, what are you going to do with it if it's something so powerful? So that's kind of where my mindset is. Maybe it's just because I think that he's an unsettling weirdo, but
you're not alone in that.
Okay.
No. Did you ever participate in his little trade quest in Ocarina of Time? Like, you did all the masks? You sold them all?
I don't think so. No.
He shows anger if you don't have enough rupees.
So it sounds like he's a temperamental. I mean, you didn't.
Yes.
He starts shaking you, and yeah, he seems.
He doesn't shake you in Ocarina, but in Majora's Mask, yeah.
He's getting a little too physical with this kid.
Right.
Shaking him around, getting kind of violent. Yeah.
But yeah, that leads us to the end of this episode. This was a bit of a longer one, but there's a lot to talk about, and so excited to be able to go through this again, and also to have someone here that is experiencing a lot of this stuff for the first time. So much to look forward to in this game. In our next episode, we're going to do a lot of exploring. So go around. You have the ability to walk around as a Hylian boy as well as a Deku Scrub, and that takes you to a lot of places. We are going to go to the swamp, and I want you to get to the entrance of the dungeon, but do not enter it. There should be a saves point like right outside of it, which, just to tell you, if you go up to these owls, you can hit them with your sword, and that's where you can save. And that does save and quit. We'll talk about the save system in the beginning of the next episode, because that's also just like a weird thing they did in Ocarina, and 3DS is also kind of like weird in a way. But we'll have more to talk about that with that. But like I said, go do some exploring, get some heart pieces, talk to some people, go help some people out, do all that, get to the entrance of the first dungeon, and then meet back here and we'll talk about it on Chat of the Wild.